What up, what up, what up? Sorry, it's kind of late. I had to work all day, and I might not go forever because I'm kind of tired. What up, everybody? Smash the Rogans up so we can break the algorithms. Mom's home from the hospital. Yay, much love. Great news. What's up, everybody? What's up, 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 what's up? So tonight is the endgame. So obviously referencing the Grabblers endgame, and of course, oh yeah, we lit the gravy over here, bro. Right here. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, bro? What my boy Bob said. Rogan's up, everybody. Help us break the algorithms. That's not. What kind of question is that? The gravy or not the gravy? What? That's self-explanatory. Oh, I forgot. I noticed I don't even like these things that much, these little things. Like and subscribe. If you enjoy, smash the like button. Also, smash the notification bell. The Grabblers are definitely going to make that notification bell turn off. Make sure you stay on top of it. All right, so I was jumping in. What's up, bro? Or not, bro? So yeah, I jumped on Discord, and I ended up chatting with AI a little bit. We ended up having a pretty crazy conversation, so that's what kind of provoked this title. So, what is the end game of the elite? And of course, it's bigger than the elite. It's bigger than the Grabblers. So, look, man, y'all are getting my version of the situation. Take it or leave it. If you start spiraling, this isn't the saloon for you. But we gotta let the gravy flow free. So let's get into it. Now we all know about this. Anut coitus. I don't read Latin. It's a dead language. Probably dead so that we don't understand what they're saying. But this means favors our undertakings, and then novus ordo seclorum means New World Order. So favors our undertakings is obviously talking about this I right here. The I, if you are new, is Lucifer, the light bearer. That's what it's all about. Tied to Egyptian mythology and beyond. So that's who favors their undertakings, and their undertakings is the New World Order. That's on the back of your dollar bill. America is a corporation that was started by this very doctrine, which is Luciferianism. Oh, that little notification sound's going to have to go. So, yeah, America was founded. It's a corporation. It's been used as a corporate entity to spearhead this slow migration to a New World Order. It's been going on for a long time. A New World Order is prophesized in all kinds of different spiritual texts. Of course, I adhere to the scriptures. Being a Christian, I do not think that the scriptures are perfect by any means. There's 66 books. That's not a coincidence. And the apocryphal books was removed from the original 1611 King James, blah, 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 blah. This isn't about religion, but it is going to, of course, intertwine spirituality, because if you actually understand what's going on, you know that it supersedes the physical. And, of course, that would explain the millennia of plans that have been going on. Is far beyond a finite lifespan. And there's a whole lot of speculation, so this is just going to be free-thinking, speculative gravy regarding what the implant is, the end game is, but more specifically, exactly how it's going to come about, or exactly what it is, which is going to require speculation. So put your big boy pants on, because some of the postulations are obviously going to be a bit out there to the closed mind, which is why you should unplug from the box before ever coming to any of my streams, because we don't got time for the baby gamma, freak out, despair, well, conspiracy theorists plugged in the box nonsense. All right, so we all know. Actually, I'm just going to assume that y'all don't know everything. That's kind of how I'm going to break it down. So, again, this means favors our undertakings regarding the eye, the illumination at the top of the pyramid, in reverence to Lucifer, the light bearer, and then New World Order here at the bottom. So, Lucifer favors the undertakings of the elites in their push towards a New World Order, and that's on the back of your dollar, because there's a metaphysical power to telling you straight to your face what you're doing, what they're doing to trick you. That is, of course, in my opinion, because they have to have your compliance, because you are made in the image of God, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to think you can make up your own version of God that fits all of your cookie cutter, or fits all of your versions that you prefer him to be, whether you want to ignore the undeniably present or undeniable existence of creation and divinity, because of you not enjoying the idea of moral accountability, or you leaning towards a preference of subjective morality. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. There are absolute truths, and if there aren't, you can't even argue anything. You can hold no stance, because there are no absolute truths. There is a linear code of ethics that goes out the window whenever you refuse to submit to God. Of course, that's an ego thing, but it also comes with the freedom of being who you are. You don't have to submit to God. And again, I know everyone thinks they know everything. Everyone thinks they know more than anyone else. And if they hear the word Christian, they definitely know more than them. And yeah, we get it. I don't care. Okay, so you can think that you know more about God than everybody else, and that it's really just this, this kind of like generalized, vague, subjective interpretation of what God is, right? And that's what everybody wants to believe, because it's easier to believe that. It's also, it does have some logic founded in it early on in the path, because mankind, humans mess up everything. And of course, how can a human ever even relay the idea of God, is the thoughts of God, if you want to say that, because God doesn't have thoughts in the term that we interpret them. And so I understand the speculation, whatever. There's a concerted effort to undermine one specific ideology, and it's only that one. There's a specific concerted effort to undermine one specific deity, one specific representation of the Son of God, one specific character. You can believe it or not. I used to not, whatever. Okay, but it's all relevant to all of this, which is why I'm addressing it. So I would encourage you to swallow ego, swallow pride, which is what I had to do, and then look into the historicity of Yeshua. Actually seek him. God says you seek him, you'll find him. Okay, so now I'm off the preacher tip, but you got to understand what they believe. Okay, so whether you believe it or not has no bearing on the fact that the people that are running the world do believe it. Okay, so again, they believe in Lucifer, the exact antithesis of God. They believe everything is backwards, hence the inversion that floods our society, and all the psyops and predictive programming is everything inverted. They always have to show you to your face, because they need your compliance, because you're made in the image of God and you have the power of logos within. They cannot just strip that from you. You of course, have to give your compliance, whether knowingly or unknowingly. You have to be complicit with it, which is why they have to show you to your face what they're doing. All right, cool. So they believe everything is backwards. They believe Lucifer's actually God, and then God's actually the devil. Lucifer's the one that wants to give you all of the forbidden truth. He is the light bearer. He wants to reveal the light of knowledge to you and let you know something to the effect that, in fact, you are a god, or how to become a god, or you just need the keys to the metaphysical access to becoming a god, blah, 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 blah. This is what they truly believe. Yes, grown men play dress up in the dark, and they go through all kinds of little rituals, and they give each other numbers, and they pretend to kill each other, and they're a bunch of little gamma douchebag sodomite grabblers, but this is what they do. They also they have occultic ritualistic practices in which they do some things that we shouldn't even need to get into detail about. But yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. I believe in a creator, but not in any religion. Cool. I don't really want to get this to be a religious discussion, but yeah, I'm not religious either. I don't like religion, but Yeshua came to dismantle religion. He hated religion. He flipped the tables because of what was going on in the churches. He constantly went at the Pharisees and the Sadducees. As you can see, I drank an energy drink because I was tired, so I'm going to be talking pretty fast because I do that even whenever I don't drink one. So keep up. Sorry. So yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get the. Okay, moving on. So we started speculating about what exactly would be the plan, and it got crazy. The gravy started flowing heavy, bro. So I'm gonna open up this video. I showed this in one of my streams, but just a couple minutes long from where I play it, and this will kind of give a little bit of a groundwork for what we're going to talk about. This is gonna get crazy, trust me, man. I mean, it's wild, pretty wild. So
I've spoken of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding. We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my government to become involved. The old ideas are new again because they're not old. They are timeless. For an endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it.
all right, cool. So I mean, we literally just discussed what that's referencing. 1,000 points of light is what they postulate to be the reign of their deity Lucifer, the light bearer. That's just the way that it is, and if you don't like it, doesn't matter. Yeah, I know it's kind of unsettling, but it is what it is. That's a little much, bro. Just a little much. That's a Rogan much, bro. Yeah, I am an Owen Benjamin fan indeed. He ladles the gravy. I use his words as a sign of respect because I am indeed a bear. Disciple, I wouldn't. No, that's ridiculous. So, anyway, what's up, man? What's up, my man? So anyway, like I was saying, a lot of people think they know everything. Okay, I saw someone mention the Zohar. Yes, very interesting subjects. Don't know near enough about it. Certainly not recently to really discuss it. That is the esoteric belief. Whitsitt bear, yeah. WitsitGetsIt bear. Yeah, Logos is rising. Yeah, we live in a time of things being revealed, but it is going to reach a pinnacle. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not big on despair, but AI and I were discussing this, and dude, this was such a Logos heavy conversation. I would have recorded it and just posted it on my channel. It's actually one of the few times it wasn't being live streamed, so it wasn't being recorded, but it was epic. Okay, so we started discussing like, what exactly they would do to be the Deception 2.0, right? I know the lighting isn't great right now, but everyone's going to be okay. So I'm tired. I'm chilling. What are they going to do to deceive the world again? Well, what do you mean again, Austin? Well, the book of Enoch, I know a lot of y'all have heard me discuss this. So I'm just going to briefly discuss it. The book of Enoch was removed from the Bible. It gives context to the entire Old Testament, which is what makes the Old Testament seem like a fairy tale and seem ridiculous and seem hypocritical and seem not even worthy of your attention because it has no context. This was done by design. Again, just to kind of make sure you can try and be open-minded, even though I know everyone thinks they know everything about this conversation. Again, the monolith of power that runs this country and the world, they all worship Lucifer. So your denial of the situation does in no way make it go away. It's very real. Okay, and that's actually a proof of the situation is kind of what you need to suck it up and then just swallow it. Okay, there is moral accountability, there is a God, there is an importance in putting and doing what's right, seeking and speaking truth, meaning what you say, and standing up to evil. Whether you want to accept it or not changes nothing. There's a metaphysical residual effect to your actions, and there is a moral accountability in the end. And morality is objective. There is a linear code of ethics. There are absolute truths, and that's just the way that it is. That's why they've propagated atheism, materialism, nihilism, apathy onto the world so that it would disconnect you from this truth, because you have a lot of spiritual power within you, and we outnumber them. So, Enoch was removed from the Bible by the Roman Catholic Church. Again, I'm going to speak fast to try to get through it. The Roman Catholic Church gave a decree to try to remove the book of Enoch from the face of the earth. This is because, again, it gives you contextual understanding to the Old Testament or the Torah. For example, wiping out entire civilizations, killing every man, woman, and child. You're like, what? Wait, what's going on? Oh, kill all these people, kill these people here. Oh, we don't understand all these crazy rules the Israelites were given. It just kind of seems weird, But then you understand that the truth is God was given Israel when you read Enoch, which tells you about the watchers that came down, tells you them by name. Then you understand what Genesis 6 is talking about when he mentions giants. You understand that all of the different things, the different rules that God gave to the Israelites were to help to protect them, because they were just normal humans. They weren't offsprings of the watchers. They didn't have any form of metaphysical genetics being modified, right? So they were at an inherent disadvantage because the offspring were giants, and then they got smaller throughout the offspring. Again, this might not be the saloon for you, but doesn't matter. Gravy's flowing. All right, so as the watchers came down and bred with the women, and then they gave birth to giants, each offspring, each lineage got smaller and smaller and smaller. The Israelites were having to combat these forces. So we're talking about literal giants that had all kinds of different civilizations. They did not necessarily always get along with each other. They actually battled each other at times, but they were all revered as their own types of deities. In fact, you can tell that they're quite egotistical by cross-referencing all the ancient texts. So this is extra biblical information as well, not just Enoch. What you find out is that each of these different geographical deities that stem from the Nephilim, more specifically that stem from the Watchers, they all wanted to be, create their own religions. They would have humans write their own versions of history, in which they would paint them in a certain light. So they are egotistical in the sense that they're driven on soul like acknowledgement of being a deity. This is what a lot of research has brought me to understand. So anyway, yeah, the Watchers came down. They had sex with the women. The women bore giants. They normally died during their birth. They got smaller over the time. Eventually, their sexual thirst, their sensual thirst became insatiable. They turned onto the birds and the creatures. That is where we get all of these crazy mythologies. Okay, cool. So anyway, fast forward a few thousand years. No one even knows it ever happened. No one knows anything about giants. A lot of people have actually been convinced to be atheist. Yeah, it's clown world. Atheist is retarded. Atheism is retarded. Makes no sense whatsoever. I can understand agnosticism. I would even say that I floated around there at one point, and I thought that was the most honest place to be. But atheism is retarded. So anyway, like I said, all of this happened. All civilizations knew about all this. It wasn't like some crazy thing to mention a giant or to mention some like metaphysical powers or to understand the metaphysics of the world. To understand the power in your words and spells and curses and psychedelics and cutting roots and all these different rituals and occultic practices, that wasn't like news to anybody. And I have a feeling that wasn't news to anybody a lot more recent than you may believe, just like we found out whenever Dave went and talked to somebody who was being taught about the earth still being flat in 1920. So we were all led to believe the Copernican model was from so long ago. It was already being accepted. Even the Greeks knew the earth was a magic spinning cartoon ball. And well, really no, people were not accepting that whatsoever until very recently, okay, until the 20th century and up. Same thing, in my opinion, with these giants and just the overall story. Whether people wanted to believe it or not, it was known that's what the actual story was. Okay, but if you, as you can tell, all you really need is about 100 or so years of lying and changing the story before everyone forgets, and they can easily be manipulated to believe that it isn't even a new introduction. It wasn't just introduced in the last 100 years. It's from a long time ago, and everyone's always known it. Okay, the same thing has happened with the giants. Everyone knew it. Every civilization recorded about it. Everyone talked about the star people. To this day, there will be oral teachings being passed down about the star people and about the Nephilim and the giants and all this different stuff. The Smithsonian is notorious for hiding all kinds of giant remains. So who's the real conspiracy theorist? The one that doesn't know any of this, or the one that's just seeking truth? So there were clearly giants. Okay, they were being suppressed from you. There weren't dinosaurs in the sense that there's these like huge beings that take billions of years of body composition to create oil, a non-renewable resource. No, oil replenishes naturally. That's what happens. But there were big creatures. So you see, the best way to keep someone from fully understanding the truth is to give them a little bitty piece of truth and then completely taint it with a whole bunch of misconceptions and lies and deception. That's what's happened. So there were crazy creatures, but they are not the dinosaurs or the connotation of dinosaurs that we have been fed. Okay, so anyway, that was just a big, long way of trying to go ahead and get the groundwork so you understand what I'm saying when I'm referencing Deception 2.0. Okay, the entire world was flooded because Noah was the only pure one left. No one even seems to understand the true context of that being the only pure genetics left. Okay, a lot of people here probably do know that, but generally speaking, probably over 90% of Christians don't even know that. And that's how close we are to the end. Okay, because even the people that are on the right path are generally speaking are completely not. Now probably everyone in this chat damn near that isn't referred to them. You know what I'm saying? So now that we've laid the groundwork briefly, Enoch was removed. Enoch was the great grandfather of Noah. He was pulled out in a dream, showed the entire timeline of the earth. Of course, he passed this dream, this prophecy down to his great grandson, or via the lineage, and of course, he took it with him on the ark. And it existed for a long time. Moses just assumed that the audience would already know, that the readers would already know about that entire book that laid out the watchers by name. There were 10 of them. They had 20 soldiers apiece, what they used to deceive mankind, and that they would already understand the whole entire story in Enoch. And so he just briefly addressed it because everyone knows about the giants. Well, Moses, it's 2020, and now I'm talking about giants, and people are probably spiraling in my chat right now. People think that the notion of giants is crazy. So, whatever. Maybe he should have went in a little bit more depth. But then again, if Moses did, it wouldn't even be in the Bible. Let's be honest. Okay, there are 66 books. If you think that's a coincidence, you might still be kind of plugged into the box. Maybe there are different plugs. You got to keep unplugging. I don't really know. Some people seem to be unplugged from the box, and then I hit them with the fact the Bible has 66 books, and there's no way it's a coincidence, and it's been manipulated, and then they spiral. It seems pretty unavoidable to keep people from spiraling, but whatever. Look in the chat real fast. Yeah, dinosaurs in the sense of big creatures were real, but not dinosaurs in the sense it takes billions of years of biodecomposition to give us a non-renewable source. It isn't a non-renewable resource. Oil replenishes, and that's what all the evidence shows me so far. I'm still looking into it, really not actively because I don't really care. The truth is we don't even need oil. Energy is self-sufficient. You could pump the ether with alternating current. All you need for free energy is water, earth, air. Oh, what a coincidence. That's all free. God gave it to all of us. So yeah, whatever. All of it's a scam. And of course, Rockefeller did pay for the definition of oil as fossil fuels at the Geneva Convention in the early 1900s. But whatever. That's light work. So where do the star people come from? The sky. Heaven. Yeah, no doubt. There's no doubt. Dinosaurs never existed, all fake to push evolution. I never even understood that. What? How does that help evolution? I never understood that. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I never did really understand it. Like everything got real big and physically dominant, and then and then because of evolution, now we have humans. I understand, though, it reset because they know what happened a billion years ago. No, they don't. Everything's a lie. The world's a stage. Everything's a lie. Everything they told you about history is a lie. Okay, I'm telling you what the real version of history is. I don't know everything. I'm just telling you what we weren't told. Okay, and take it in because it gets pretty crazy. It's important to understand the way that the world was deceived the first time so we can kind of get context clues about the second time. And maybe now you're understanding why we weren't told about the first time. Because, what are the odds of you falling for the star people trick again if you knew it already happened? Yeah. I get it, guys. The dragons, and there were dragons mentioned in the scriptures, no doubt, or something that seems to allude to a dragon. Yeah, dragons, all kinds of things. Let me just find a picture I've showed before. Well, yeah, so basically it all stems from the Luciferian doctrine. Everything is about inversion, so they have to tell you the opposite of the truth. There's something metaphysical to it, man, But, for example, people just assume that this right here is some, like, fantasy, right? That's a depiction of Nimrod. People think that dude wasn't actually a giant. People think that this right here is all just fantasy. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but it appears that this is just real history, man. So let's just check out some information to back up that claim. We're gonna go over here. Dude, stop crying. The dog's a loser. All right, look, this is pretty crazy. So, is it on the screen? Yeah. I just randomly typed this in. So, Luciferian quotes. This is some spiritual guide loser. Look at this dude. No one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. Let's see. Lucifer represents life through progress, civilization, liberty, independence. Lucifer is the Logos, the serpent, the savior. Like, what? That is, what? What are you talking about? Everything's about inversion, and the point to understand is these people truly believe it. And hey, guys, these people are just puppets for the metaphysical master that is Lucifer Lightbearer, the one that they worship. He's just utilizing their materialistic interpretation of the world via greed and power and lust and fleshly desire so that they can be manipulated to usher in his ultimate agenda, which again is a New World Order. All right. The very first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment and did it so effectively that he at least won his own kingdom, Lucifer. Like, you think, what kind of a depraved person do you have to be to think that that's cool? Like, that's wild. But there's a couple crazy ones in here. I do like this quote. They used to call the devil the father of lies, but for someone whose sin is meant to be pride, you think that lying would leave something of a sour taste. So my theory is that when the devil wants to get something out of you, he doesn't lie at all. He tells you the exact literal truth, and he lets you find your own way to hell. And that's what happens. That's why they always have to tell you that they're tricking you straight to your face. And if you're unplugged from the box, you know that to be true. They straight up show you to your face. A lot of people say that's predictive programming. Yeah, sure, they are probably conditioning your subconscious to accept a future event, but it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. There's a metaphysical benefit, or not even benefit, requirement. There's a metaphysical, spiritual requirement that where they have to tell you they're tricking you straight to your face, and that is your compliance. Your silence is your compliance. It's a spell. It's wizardry. It's magic, and that they don't have a choice. God gave you this inalienable right against, or a right of protection against it. So that's why you have to go seek these things out, and that's why I personally warn against messing with this new age. Oh, I want to astral project and let me see what's in the metaphysical realm, because once you start to look for it and seek for it, that's when it will come to you. I can tell you that from experience. So I would warn against it, but hey, do what you want. Lest we forget, at least an over-the-shoulder acknowledgement to the very first radical from all our legends, mythology, and history. And who is to know where mythology leaves off and history begins, or which is which? The very first radical known to man who rebelled against the establishment did so effectively that he won his own kingdom, Lucifer. Really take this in from all our legends, mythology, and history. And who is to know where mythology leaves off or history begins? So yeah, and that's what I'm sitting here telling you, and this is what the Luciferians believe. And just in case you don't know somehow, like Freemasons, that's Luciferianism. Okay. And that's what we're discussing here. That's why that's what their symbology is heavily centered around the pyramid. There is no difference in Freemasonry and Luciferianism. Period. I know this. This is factual. Okay. Now, not everyone necessarily knows it, but I'm not really going to give them a ton of a benefit of doubt, because I know for a fact that they do have to recite things about the light at every step. That they're pursuing the light, they're seeking the light, they're on the way to the light. Blah 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 blah. Again, a bunch of grown men playing dress up in the dark and pretending to kill each other and doing all kinds of little weird rituals. It's lame, but they do it, and they know what they're doing. Okay, you cannot be an atheist and be a Mason. You have to at least be agnostic, and they don't care what religion you adhere to, but you have to recite and regurgitate and retain all of their doctrines of belief to move up throughout the brotherhood. And you have to acknowledge the master architect. Of course, their master architect is Lucifer. It's the all-seeing eye, the idea of illumination, and it ties all the way back to Egyptian mythology. I've actually held in my own hands an older Masonic Bible that came from an estate sale. It wasn't mine, but I was able to look at it because someone died and they found it. And in that old Masonic Bible, it is just flooded with Egyptian mythology, literally visualizations of Egyptian mythology all throughout the Bible. Okay, but why did they choose the Bible to put all of their heavy beliefs in? Because there's something true about it, guys. Okay, that is the true story. Word became flesh. Yeshua, Jesus, he was crucified innocently, and his tomb was empty. You may not want to accept it. I get it. Everyone thinks they know everything, but whatever. Okay. We don't know everything. We don't even know what happened back then. We don't know a fraction of the ancient civilizations or the giants or what they actually knew when it came to energy or any form of technology. We don't know everything. There's a concerted effort about one religion. And of course, it's important to understand that, because that is what prevents you from spiraling right now. And like, oh, all this despair. No, stop being a gamma. Be a strong individual. Stop being so scared and fear-mongering. And then, dude, just on a side little tangent there, like, nothing more disgusting than those that in the name of Christ promote all of this fear. There's a real big YouTube channel that does that a lot, like, in the name of Jesus, go buy my bug out bag. Oh, the world's going to end. Every one of their titles is about the end of the world. I think we all know who I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with God. Okay. God does not promote fear nor despair. Okay. I'm not tripping about any of this. Okay. But if you don't know that God's real, you don't have a real relationship with him, you might spiral a little bit, but it is what it is. All right. So this is where, now that we've set the foundation, and I go on tangents, I'll digress, of course, but we started speculating all kinds of things. AI was hitting me with some serious gravy. The gravy got to flowing. He was telling me that we've all heard of Jade Helm, right? The military operation that everybody was freaking out about back in the day, a few years ago. It was a military operation domestically, but what I did not know is that it was a trial run in which a AI supercomputer was actually giving the orders, the marching orders, if you will, the movement orders and directions to the military. It was a trial run of an AI being over a military operation. Yeah, pretty crazy. So then, of course, you can just understand they claim that they're about to put out this quantum computer, right? That could, I don't remember the exact metrics, but it's like what would take a normal computer 10,000 years would take this computer 1 second or something. It's something crazy like that. That's what they actually are saying. So there's this new technology on the brink of being introduced to the public. It's a quantum computer. What does it even mean? You know, like quantum science is retarded. None of it's real. So whatever, just another lie. But it's not necessarily a lie. They do have a crazy computer, a crazy technology. So the idea here being that they trial ran the idea of a military surveillance, military operation via the AI's control, and then they are working towards compiling all of these different information or different power structures of technology into one singular. I don't know all the specifics he did, but I know AI knows what he's talking about. Every time I look up anything he's talking about, it's like point on exactly right. But basically, it's the merging of like this is in the works. The merging of your Face ID on your iPhone, like the Connect on Xbox, Microsoft, and a couple other things. And so the idea of them merging into mass surveillance, which shouldn't shock anybody, China's already rolled it out. Okay, and if that's probably what the coronavirus is. People were probably not very happy with the whole, being taken over by a totalitarian, authoritarian, tyrannical government where it was mass surveillance and they were controlling your literal credit system based on your obedience to the state. They probably just started revolting and marching, and they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. We'll make up this story about this virus, and then we'll be able to, house all the political dissidents. I don't know, just allegedly, just speculating. But I do know that if there's some deadly virus going everywhere, that planes wouldn't be coming in and out of China still. So that doesn't really add up, does it? So anyway, they already trial ran that on China. Okay, and of course, it's logical that they're going to try to roll out mass surveillance. And that's what Edward Snowden was. Edward Snowden was not some organic whistleblower. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. He was used to normalize that idea, to bring out into the public that the government's intel agencies have been spying on you, mass surveillance. Okay, because now everyone knows that. Everyone knows it. Every American knows that our own government was mass surveilling us against our rights we're supposed to have. And they were only able to do that because of the Patriot Act, which was sneaked through because of 9/11, of course. But my point is that Edward Snowden was fulfilling his agenda, which was to bring that out into the public and to seed it into the public awareness. So it's not, we all know it. We all make casual jokes now about our FBI agent. My FBI agent's probably going to trip out when he sees this meme or whatever. We already accepted it. Okay. So whenever they try to amp that up, then that won't be nearly as big of a gap to bridge. So hopefully you're following what I'm saying. So anyway, they rolled out an idea, AI over a literal military operation in America a few years back. Everyone was freaking out, but they were missing the mark exactly what the big deal was about it. But a bunch of people did have a feeling that something wasn't cool. And of course, any domestic military operation like that is sketchy. But it was because of testing out. They wanted to test out the AI on literal land in America when it comes to AI being able to carry out military action. So they're combining all of these companies who've been rolling out these technologies for years and years and years. Like, how old is Connect, right? when it comes to different types of artificial obtainment of information. And so we look at it like, okay, this is just, looking at my face, but that isn't all that it does. That's just all that's the only benefit that they offer you from it. He was telling me also about how Connect, it doesn't just look at your face. It was actually, and think about how old this is from Xbox, that it actually, was studying your skeletal structure. And that based on breaking down the mannerisms and the body language of your skeletal structure, they were thinking that they were on the brink of being able to, understand your political preferences, your religious ideologies that you ascribe to, etc., purely based on your body's mannerisms. Okay, and this was years and years and years ago. So the idea being, if they could combine Microsoft, Apple, and all these different little technologies that they've been easing into society, right? To this one, say that it's some little device, and they just scan you, and they're like, oh, look, Christian Trump supporter, whatever it is, because of your mannerisms. Don't underestimate the technology. Okay, it's 2020, so yeah, pretty clearly this is part of the whole ordeal. Okay, it's Deception 2.0. It's going to be like the more polished version of it. Now, I'm not making any claims to know exactly how it's going to go down, but this is clearly part of it. So anyway, of course, you can see how that could go bad, right? Because say that you're going to roll out some sinister agenda or whatever, a specific agenda in a certain city. You scan all the people like, oh, this guy's going to be a problem. Whitsitt over here, he likes to ladle the gravy. He's not going with the plan. We're going to have to take him out or whatever, right? So hopefully I did a good job of explaining that to you. That isn't just just make up stuff. This is based on timelines of events, of the normalization of the surveillance coming from these high-level tech companies. And of course, they are all unifying now and moving their headquarters to a certain country that shall go unnamed, but I think we all know who it is. 0.001% of the world's population gets 1/3 of our foreign aid budget. And we do have over 70 dual citizens in our government, whatever. Let's see what y'all are talking about. I don't know if that's really what the mark of the beast is. I don't know. There's a whole lot of theories. But I mean, come on, guys. I think we all know that. Don't take atheists wouldn't take a chip in their wrist. You wouldn't think. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's heard that story. I don't think they're going to roll out a chip because it's too obvious. It's way too obvious. And there is a spiritual connotation to the idea of the mark, which means it might not be a physical thing. And everyone's looking for a physical thing. But like the mark from the Holy Spirit, right? It could just be the inverse of that. But I don't know. But yeah, obviously don't take the mark, bro. I don't know exactly what it is. My dog is trying to open the door. I can hear. Oh, I'm gonna have to go let her out. So I guess I'll let y'all watch this really cool video again where they straight up tell you to your face that they're about to usher in the 1,000 points of light, which is the millennial reign of Lucifer, at least what they think. I think Lucifer's going to take over. And I got some more gravy. But she's going crazy. She's scratching the door. 1,000 points of light is what they believe is ushering in this New World Order. The New World Order isn't just some monolith of control of these old little grabbler douchebags that want to control all the resources and stuff. It's much deeper than that. This is religious for them, guys. They're actually trying to bring about their deity. I know this is heavy. I told you put your big boy pants on, so what you gonna do? Just a second. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Thank you. I've spoken of 1,000 points of light, of all the community organizations that are spread like stars throughout the nation doing good. We will work hand in hand, encouraging, sometimes leading, sometimes being led, rewarding. We will work on this in the White House, in the cabinet agencies. I will go to the people and the programs that are the brighter points of light, and I'll ask every member of my government to become involved. The old ideas are new again because they're not old. They are timeless. An endless, enduring dream and 1,000 points of light. This is my mission, and I will complete it.
All right. So yeah, 1,000 points of lights, even on the Illuminati deck. Oh my gosh! As soon as I get back, she had already opened the door, and as soon as I sat down, I heard her open the door back. What a loser. Thanks, bro. Yeah, it's on the back of your dollar bill. And for anyone that doesn't know, yeah, George Bush for sure. Anyone that doesn't know, of course, your dollar bill doesn't mean anything. It's fiat currency paper money that comes from a private company on a private island that does not adhere to U.S. laws. Okay, it's all a scam. Property of the corporation that is the United States. That's why when you're born, your birth certificate is on bond paper. You have a citizenship, which has to do with certain types of laws based on where you are. It's all set up. Okay. And they have to do it right in front of your face. There's something about that. So there's no despair here. So, politicians are Luciferian. The Masonic Brotherhood worships the light bearer. Yes. This is definitely correct. They do indeed. And I know a couple Masons. My great-grandfather was a Mason. The lower level Masons don't know what's going on. But the higher levels do. I wish I could show you all this other. I'll post it on my Instagram, but it shows you that like the Flintstones, there's like 4 different pictures of them showing you blatantly that it's like shout outs to the Brotherhood, Masonry. And then I commented, but it's deeper than that. It isn't just about the fact they're letting you know. It's about the fact that the higher ups are making fun of the other Masons because they don't really know what's going on. They're making fun of them via the idea of the primitive Flintstones, right? Like, okay, you're just doing our bidding on the public front. It's compartmentalization, the same way that they've kept a secret about the earth from everybody, okay? Over fluoridated mind-numb zombies say things like, how could you're saying everyone lies about the earth? Look at the thousands of people. And they don't understand the simple concept of compartmentalization. Okay, but what these elite little grabblers, again, the little Gamma Secret King grown adults that play dress up, what they don't understand is actually they're being compartmentalized by Lucifer, the light bearer. He doesn't care. But everyone has their vice, right? These grabblers. One of them likes underage girls. One of them likes prostitutes that are trannies. One of them likes tons of cocaine, and Joe Biden likes to sniff little girls' hair and stuff, right? So they all have their own little vice. They get whatever's on the surface level, and then he's just laughing at all of them because they think that they're important. I'm just trying to find where. Okay, here we go. No, that's not it. Oh yeah, that is it. All right. Anyway, back to some gravy with these quotes. One of these like hit me pretty crazy. So, to you, sovereign grand inspectors, general 33rd degree Masons, we say this, that you may repeat it to the brethren of 32nd, 31st, and 30th degrees. The Masonic religion should be, by all of us initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's crazy, bro. Can y'all see that pretty good? Y'all can't. What is more absurd and more impious than to attribute the name of Lucifer to the devil? That is to personified evil. The intellectual Lucifer is the spirit of intelligence and love. It is the paraclete. It is the Holy Spirit, while the physical Lucifer is the great agent of universal magnetism. While the physical Lucifer is the great agent of universal magnetism. That's interesting. That's pretty interesting. Because we all know that we've been lied to about magnetism, because it is obviously the most important thing that can give us all kinds of free energy. All right, well, check this out, of course. We all know it's the luminiferous ether, light bearing. Okay, and of course, magnetism only happens due to its relationship within the ether, right? We've discussed this. If you've been here, everything that has matter, everything in the material world is inherently electrostatic, more specifically dielectric, but those are interchangeable terms, right? But it's just technically dielectric. Anyway, dielectricity and magnetism, they cannot exist without one another. They're two sides of the same coin. Magnetism is the dielectric field. So everything with matter has some form of magnetism to it. And just like these people just told you straight to your face, magnetism is the most important energy that there is. In fact, it's the only autonomous field modality in the universe, meaning it's only self-governing field, self-harnessing field, self-harnessing of its own energy. It's perpetual. It's self-sufficient, self-sustaining. That's magnetism. Okay. And they know this. Is it not odd to anyone that magnetism is like a dead science, or that it was never even like truly figured out? Like as humans are going through their path of technological evolution, such a tainted word now, but they never thought, okay, let's look into magnetism if we want to get some energy. It's not a coincidence that this was left behind. As it's not a coincidence that the ether was left behind, because that removes us from fully understanding the true nature of this universe and universe. If we understood it, then it wouldn't be an advantage for them to understand it. I hope you're following me. But anyway, with the whole magnetism thing, very simple. You see this? This is the magnetic field. This is going to continue to propagate linear to one another, right? You see this? Of course, we can of course, energy can be self-sufficient. Look at it. It's right there. That's what energy is, right? Electricity is the sum of dielectricity times the sum of magnetism equals electricity. Okay, so it's self-harnessing. So anyway, I just thought that was like super intriguing right here. While the physical Lucifer is the great agent of universal magnetism. I don't know. Just sift through the gravy. I don't know exactly how to take that. I don't think so. No, what it seems like is Lucifer is a gamma secret king, and he likes to take credit for things that have nothing to do with him, right? Like he wants to be a god. He wants everyone to think that he is a god. What better way to get back at God than to make the trick of his beloved creation as if he is God? Okay, but no, there's an ether that's the universal background, the absolute frame of reference to Earth. Okay, and the center has pretty clearly, in my assertion or my assessment, a magnetic rock. Okay, and it creates a whirlpool, and it's a very majestic area on Earth. And if you were to see it, you could never deny the metaphysical or creation. And that emanates a toroidal magnetic field that encompasses Earth. Okay, that has nothing to do with Lucifer. That has to do with God. God made energy everywhere. Okay, and this ties right into the idea of cymatics, the study of sound manifesting matter, or sonoluminescence, where you can make due to sound propagation. The frequencies and vibrations of certain frequencies of sound can manifest light. And really, that's all that Tesla said. That's all that the light is a sound wave in the ether. Okay, and then we just perceive the illumination of the frequency that's being introduced into the medium that is the ether. Okay, but anyway, so I'm just saying it's not a coincidence that this random quote on here is talking about the physical Lucifer is the great agent of universal magnetism, and this was the very force that was hidden from us that we still don't understand. If you go to the biggest magnet producers in the world, any company you can think of, if you go down to their frequently asked questions, one of them will be is like, what is magnetism? And they're like, oh, we don't really know. Okay, and modern science says it's virtual photons, the exchange of virtual photons. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, virtual photons don't exist. How could you ever even be so dumb that the phrase virtual photons would come out of your mouth? It's baffling, okay? But it's been misguided and kept from the public for a very particular reason that we may not fully understand. I don't know. But it's deeper than what most people think, bro. It's deeper than, oh, they want us to have to use oil. It's a little deeper than that, okay? That is the perpetual singular autonomous field modality in the non-perceived reciprocation or other side of everything. Okay, the ether. The ether is undeniably there. And again, we've been lied to about that for reasons. Let's not be naive. And what does luminiferous mean? Luminiferous meaning light bearing. So, yeah, I mean, guys, I guess you got to be unplugged from the box, maybe. But this is not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence that ether was coined luminiferous ether and was known to be the medium in which light propagates through. It isn't just light that propagates through ether, but that is the perceivable, propagation. We just perceive the illumination. Light is actually nothing. Light is nothing. It's just, we just perceive the illumination based on what we can perceive and the level of frequencies. We're just seeing part of what is there. Okay. I hope you follow me. We can only see so much. There's a veil, right? And there's the ether. We can only see what enters into our perceivable reality, our perceivable realm of distinction. That's all that light is, right? It's energy introduced into the medium. There's a rate of induction. There is no such thing as a speed. It's relative to the medium and the amount of energy introduced. So it's an ether perturbation modality. I think people understand this if they've listened to me at all. There's no such thing as a photon, physical particle. It's a dielectric pulse on the coaxial circuit that is light. I think it's important to maybe understand it before I try to tie it in. So real fast, I made this little illustration. This is light. This is a coaxial circuit. It has a transversal movement, which is waving. That's what that is, waving. And again, modern science says light's a particle and a wave, but it's neither. Okay, for one, a wave isn't a thing. It's an effect. A wave is a type of movement. Okay, transversal. That's all it is. And of course, it isn't a particle, and that can be proven. It's provably not a physical particle. You can prove this just by shooting a laser through glass or water. Okay, so this is all light really is. It is a transversal. It has transversal movement. It's a coaxial circuit. These little center points here I have marked is what people call photons, but it's actually just a dielectric pulse. This is all immaterial, and all this is what we perceive as the reaction with the energy, i.e. the electricity, introduced into the ether. Okay, so anyway, pretty interesting to me at least that, luminiferous, of course, means light bearing, but it's called the luminiferous ether, and it's what was hid from us, and it is postulated to be the absolute frame of reference, universal background. It's a field of energy. It's got some form of metaphysical undertones. It seems to hold the keys to everything that we perceive in reality, and we've been lied to about it, and it was replaced with the nonsense that is warped space-time, curved space, warped concepts. Yeah, they'll fall for that one. A conceptual abstraction representing a privation, representing nothing. Let's give it a physical property. They'll fall for it. Let's give these scientists some fame and notoriety, and they'll keep saying it. And Lucifer's just laughing, bro. He's laughing. But anyway, I label this the end game. So we're not really going to pay too much mind to the surface level, because he's just using them as puppets, bro. But anyway, and it's like they're willfully puppets, right? Because look, they know what's going on. But this is the part I think that's real important to maybe understand. Yeah, I'm a Christian. Okay. Lucifer is the master of deception. Master. He isn't a human. He isn't limited to finite lifespans. He's Lucifer. He was an angel that rebelled. In fact, he was an angel that was held in high esteem, and he still wanted more because he's a gamma. Tranny. The devil's a gamma tranny. Oh no, I'm probably triggering speech algorithm. But yeah, so he isn't limited to finite human lifespans, and he's the master of deception. So of course he is deceiving the world. Okay, isn't really a leap there? He's deceiving the whole world, including the people working for him, including the people that think, oh, there's no such thing as a real religion or whatever, it's spirituality, not religion, like, yeah, I'm anti-religious too, bro. You should look into Yeshua, look into the historicity of Yeshua. Okay, that's the one religion that everyone is allowed to attack. It's the one being undermined. It's the one that points out the very expressly points out the plan of Lucifer, which is manifesting in front of our very eyes, and it's been going on forever. So if you think there's nothing real about it, please explain to me why the most rich and powerful men ever to exist all believe in Lucifer if he doesn't exist. And this is where people start to say things like, oh, well, just because they believe it doesn't mean it's real. Okay, dude, look, man, I just show you the box, bro. You got to unplug from the box, bro. That's on you. But we'll get back into what we were talking about, because it gets crazy. So I probably am not going to really read many of these comments. I'm not going to lie to you, because a lot of people try to drag me into theological discussions. And honestly, it kind of rubs me the wrong way when everyone thinks they know everything. Everyone thinks they know everything. So regarding this conversation. So I try not to, I know I may be coming off like I think I know everything. I certainly don't know everything. I'm just like real confident in the way that I present things. I'm somewhat assertive. But I obviously have conviction behind the things that I say. I choose to mean what I say. But so maybe you are just doing the same thing. But if you're not being fair and haven't actually looked into it, it's kind of retarded to think you know. Right? And again, I said this earlier in this stream, but there are absolute truths. There's a linear code of ethics. There's an objective nature to morality. It isn't subjective, right? Murdering a little kid is wrong no matter where you're at, no matter what culture you were raised in, and no matter what God you adhere to. Inherently, we know that murder's wrong, okay? We know that stealing's wrong. We know that lying's wrong, manipulating's wrong, okay? Harming a child is wrong. Harming anyone is wrong, right? We know this inherently. Where does that come from? It comes from God, okay? Now, if you want to just say, oh, well, there is no specific God and there's no truth to Yeshua because you haven't researched it, because if you do research it, you find out that there is. But if you want to go that path, it sounds all good, right? It sounds cool, sounds good. But you have to understand that the ultimate end game, the final game plan, is to actually sell you that very thing. That is the very sales pitch of the end, is that we're going to combine all religions, and that it's spirituality, not religion. And that religion is man's primitive attempt to explain what they cannot explain or understand, that is God. But here is some form of omnipotence or metaphysical superiority that's offered to you in whatever form they choose to take it, whether it's like a transhuman, artificial intelligence, crazy superhuman looking thing, or if it's actual remanifestation of giants or star people from the sky, whatever it is. Okay, the sales pitch is going to be the same sales pitch it was in the beginning, which is that you can be a God. Okay, so I know a lot of people don't like to hear this. I get blown up in my comment sections for talking about this kind of stuff, in my Facebook Messenger and all this stuff, and people in comments probably spiraling right now. But the reason I feel so compelled to let you know is because if you do not have any grasp of this at all prior to the deception being introduced, you're going to fall for it. Okay, because the scriptures say that the deception will be so great that if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived. Okay, so if you're not right with God at all, or you think you're a God, or you whatever, right, then you're definitely going to fall for it. I know this is an uncomfortable truth. I know that ego doesn't want us to have to submit to some specific thing, especially when we think that humans wrote it. I understand all of it. I understand it. And I'm asking you to sincerely look into it because it's going to offer you protection. More specifically, it's going to offer you discernment, because the sales pitch, again, is going to be the very same it was at the beginning, which is that you can be a God. That's what it was in the beginning. There's nothing new under the sun. And it's the most compelling sales pitch. You can understand why he would use it. Okay, so they're going to offer you all these metaphysical tricks and information that was forbidden, and all you have to do is accept the light bearer and get rid of the primitive idea of religion. And we're just going to unify under this one religion, or they're not going to call it that, this one spirituality, spiritual ideology. We're going to get rid of, y'all get rid of those pesky little nations and sovereignty and self-sustainability. We're all going to just get rid of borders, let everyone go wherever they want to. We're all going to unify under one government, one monolith of control, one religion, one monetary system. It's been predicted for a long time, and that's what they're pushing towards. And the 1,000 points of light is referencing what they believe will be Lucifer's, the light bearers, millennial reign. That's what they're trying to usher in. There has to be a breaching of the veil. And this is why you weren't told about the ether. Because, for one, the heliocentric model can't even exist without the ether, or with the ether, right? Because the theory of relativity cannot coexist with ether. And, of course, they can't even explain the whole idea of theory of relativity. If you don't know, it's to dismiss the fact that we don't feel the earth moving, right? So everything's relative. It's moving, I promise. Okay, warped space-time. This, little incestuous grabbler. This dude right here who likes to wear women's shoes. Okay, this dude, the poster boy that they chose to give you, he reified space. Oh, I've come to believe that the motion of the Earth cannot be detected by any optical experiment. Now, what would a logical person think? Maybe it's not moving. What did this incestuous grabbler think? Which I don't know if he actually believed this or not. He thought, oh, no, it's moving. But because of relativity, you don't feel it moving. And we won't notice any of the movements, but it's moving, I promise. Okay, but anyway, now he probably was guided by his little gamma incestuous lust and little grabbler wants and needs, okay? Because humans are just the puppets, man. So we always focus all of our energy. He's winning. That's what Lucifer wants you to do. Talk about the elite. We should call out the elite, the little grown men that play dress up in the dark. We should call out the grabblers, right? We should expose them. We should hold them accountable. We should see through their agendas, right? We should figure out who they are, all that. But we should also understand that it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than one lifespan, or even just an entire lineage of humans. And some of these elite do believe they stem from the lineage of the Nephilim, but that's a totally different story. But we need to understand what's really going on. The biggest trick Lucifer or the devil ever played was convincing everyone that he didn't exist. And we've all heard that. But in fact, the biggest trick that the devil's going to play is going to pull is making you think that he is actually God and God's actually the devil, and that you can become a god. The reason that what you call God's actually the devil is because he put you in this little physical containment, right? And he didn't want you to know your true powers. I'm trying to give you the secrets of knowledge. And there's a whole bunch of different ways this could go. The gravy could really get to flowing right now. Maybe they actually adopt the flat earth. They admit the earth is flat after we get big enough. Okay, they admit the earth is flat, but they guide you into your interpretation of it, wherein which maybe Lucifer's revealed, or the Luciferian doctrine is brought out into the open, and it's made. Then you're told, yeah, the earth is flat, but really, I'm the one that's trying to help you get out of here because God put you in this containment or whatever, and He doesn't want you to know the power that you have and that you could be a god or something. I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible, right? And it's also very possible that they cling on to this lie until the death, and they try to make sure we never even get out. It does seem that way for sure, because it seems like they want the idea of space or whatever impending deception there is. And this isn't despair, but it's also we're supposed to call these things out, right? Like that's what I feel led to do, right? That's what, not even just my intuition, but my like pure incentive drives me to do, right? That's what I feel God wants me to do, is to call that out. And, again, if you've never heard of the true history or the true timeline of history, or what's happened, or that there's nothing new under the sun, or any of this metaphysical reality of Luciferianism and the truth about God and Yeshua being hidden from you, if you don't know anything, if you don't know anything about that, or you don't believe, or you think it's all just a fairy tale, then the deception is going to hit you 10 times harder than someone that at least has the context of understanding that this has happened before, or what is actually going on. So, hate me, love me, whatever, I'm just, I'm doing what I feel I'm supposed to do. I'm doing my part, right? I'm letting you know. Bro. Okay. These grown men play dress up in the dark for a reason. Okay. It's real. It's very real. I know this is kind of heavy. This was an impromptu subject for the stream. So it is what it is. Told you to put your big boy pants on. It is what it is. There's a metaphysical battle going on. Okay, there's one singular figure that's they seem very concerned with not letting you know about. Okay, there's one ideology that's attacked, and everyone's allowed to attack. Okay, the entire calendar revolves around one person. The Bible's been heavily altered and mistranslated, and there's 66 books there now. Enoch was removed from you, explains to you the true history of the world, gives you a contextual understanding of the Old Testament. None of these are coincidences. Now, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I think y'all kind of heard what I have to say, but I really hope that you think about it, man, because we live in the time of things being revealed. No, I don't got a link underneath the video saying buy my bug out bag. The world's about to end tomorrow. I got a vision. Everyone's going to die, but make sure you invest in my Bitcoin. No, that's not what this is. I'm just trying to tell you, bro. I'm trying to tell you that if you ask for and seek for discernment, spiritual discernment and wisdom, you'll get some. It's a process. It's about obedience. Okay. Anyone with eyes to see right now knows that we are approaching this impending, imminent deception of immense proportions. I don't know what it is, but if you don't even know it's coming, you're going to fall for it. Okay. You can't become a god. Okay. You can't merge. You can't become transhuman and defy more mortality. No, you can't become a god. No, there isn't some alien that's going to come save the day. You don't need to turn to the state. None of that. It seems like most population's going to fall for it. So at least I know whoever was in here, I personally warned them. The end game is a whole lot of potential things, though. That's why I labeled it that and told y'all it's just speculative. It's a speculative stream, but they are definitely, bringing in high-level artificial intelligence. Like I told you, the Connect itself was actually studying your skeletal reactions and movements, your skeletal movements, and they were categorizing people, and that they were on the verge of being able to categorize based purely on your mannerisms and body language, your political affiliation and your ideological affiliations. So, if they could categorize your proclivities based on mannerisms of your skeletal structure years ago, and then now they're talking about rolling out a quantum computer. That's so amazing. You can kind of put that together. Now, I don't know. There's a whole different, there's a whole bunch of different ways this could go. Could they combine the idea of transhumanism and this AI, and then this metaphysical deity possesses that vessel, right? Like, and then that's taken as a god? I don't know. But if you think about it, and we were talking about this, and it makes a lot of sense, what's the one thing that's Lucifer wouldn't be able to just have free access to? It would be all of our information, because, again, we're protected by God inherently. You're made in the image of God. And even if you're still on your path of finding him, or being good with them, or having a relationship with them, or whatever you want to say, you still have the inherent protection of God just because you're creation. You have to give your compliance for them to be able to get to you. You have to go seek it or pursue it for them to be able to get to you, right? And this is pretty provable with all kinds of evidence. But he needs your compliance. So that's the one thing that Lucifer can't do. Okay, there's a lot of things he can't do. He's a gamma, whatever. He's a gamma, but he's smarter than us humans. He's been around a lot longer. He was there when the Bible was written. And again, he needs your compliance, but the one thing that he can't get is all of our information, all of our emotions, all of our fears, all of our understandings, because unless you give him permission, he doesn't have it. Okay. Now, if they are to implement this quantum computer, so insane preemptive technology, right, where they're compiling everyone's information on a mass scale, and if that can deduce information at that astronomical of a speed, and they're compiling everyone's information, maybe they're going to know what you're going to do before you do it. Maybe they know exactly what you're scared of. Anyway, the point is that entire compilation of information, of your emotions, the sum of your emotions and fears, being at the fingertips of this computer would be a huge tool of advantage for Lucifer, hypothetically, allegedly. Okay, so it is intertwined, and it's on the verge of them trying to do it. Now, like, God, I think, God's in control. God could make this not happen for 1,000 years for all I know. I don't think so, though, So it's that time to stop playing games and to get right with God. That's just my opinion. That's my advice. It's all good, now that I've gotten all the heavy stuff out, we can chill. But their end game is to usher in their Messiah, their God, their deity. It is Lucifer. It's the light bearer. All of the Freemasons know this. That's what the eye at the top of the pyramid represents. Illumination from the light bearer. It's being illuminated, you becoming a god of the master architect. That's why they have to practice all of these occultic rituals, because there's actually a metaphysical residue that comes with it. That's why you can't be atheist and be Masonic. You don't really figure out the true ordeal until 30 up, which we just read in one of their own quotes. They hid from you ether because luminiferous ether, the light bearer, it's just kind of a play on the fact that if it's of crucial importance to your spiritual understanding, and that's why it was hidden from you, because it's thus undeniable. There's a metaphysical background right here, bro, right? And so they believe in Lucifer, the light bearer, and everything is inverted, and they're trying to usher him in as their deity. They think that they're going to win somehow. I don't know. They think that they're going to get over on God. Okay. Let's see. What else have we got? Okay, so we've all seen this. Georgia Godstones written in all of these different languages. The most prominent ancient languages. And of course, the first rule is maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Okay. Which is pretty interesting. If you look at... This is the Denver airport. I think everyone's seen this. There's a part in here that says something to the effect of perpetual balance with nature. But, the roadways make a swastika, whatever. The airport's dedication stone is imagery from a secret society. Yep, there's a Freemason Masonic symbol here at the airport. Underground tunnels, a mural that's super creepy. This is representing the New World Order. This is just weird. A quote from a child who died at Auschwitz. Did they? But anyway, yeah, it's still creepy. We don't even know the truth about that situation, so we'll just move on. The devilish Mustang statue outside the airport killed its sculptor while he was working on it. So they make an apocalyptic horse outside of the front of the airport and actually killed the sculptor while he was working on it, and its eyes light up, whatever. So I think most people here probably know about that gravy. But what's interesting is I can't remember exactly where I heard this, but you get a little gold coin that's very rare, and it's got specific inscriptions, and you have to present that to get into the underground tunnel system. Denver Airport's just one of the entry points as far as I can tell, right? But it does say something about the idea of the harmonic nature of humanity. And of course, what they mean by that is that maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity, unite humanity with a living new language. It's just the New World Order Luciferian reign right here. That's all that is. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, okay. So Tyler the Creator is a rapper. I sold my soul to the devil. Lucifer will have my soul. I think a lot of people might think that this is that stuff like this isn't real, but it is real. And again, I don't want to be too reiterative here, but if nothing's real about it, why do they all worship him by that specific name and all of the powerful people literally worship him? Let's just think about it logically for a second. So let's just watch a little bit of this nonsense. What is this dude doing? I'm sorry, I forgot it. I didn't even watch this. I was like, it was on at the TV at my parents' when I was over there. But this is a quote from this dude, Tyler the Creator. I sold my soul to the devil. Lucifer will have my soul. I feel weird even reading this stuff out loud. I'm pretty new to YouTube. I don't know about all the copyright stuff, so I'm pausing it. But if that's not kind of creeping you out, then maybe you weren't listening to the whole first part of the stream. But this is weird, okay? And this is the 2020 Grammys. These people don't just do this stuff for no reason. They have to. Okay, this is an act of reverence to their deity. Okay, so I'm gonna finish playing it, and then I'm just gonna come chat with y'all and wrap it up. But this is pretty weird. This dude is obviously a sodomite. Dude, I'm sorry. This is painful. I don't know what's going on, bro. This is the worst sounding music I've ever heard in my life, bro. And this is the 2020 Grammys. Dude, I could literally freestyle like after drinking like 2/5 and being injected with heroin better than this dude right now. Freestyling. This is awful. So this is proof to you it isn't about talent. It's about those willing to do that. Okay, let's continue with this little sodomite. All right, I've had enough. Anyway, I was just showing that to show you, dude, if you don't notice that that is a ritual, then you're still in the box. Okay? So I know a lot of people think they're unplugged from the box. Maybe not. If you couldn't tell that that was a ritual in reverence to Lucifer, then you're still plugged in the box. I know a lot of people I might have lost a lot of people right there. Whatever. That's what it was subjectively. Okay? It's very obvious to see if you have eyes to see. Hating about it now. That's because they have conditioned the world to accept it. And so again, brief overcap, and I'm just going to start reading. If y'all have something to say, just send me just comment some questions or whatever, and I'm going to come read them right after I just do this little brief overcap. So, I didn't really have a ton. I just was kind of winging it here, but this is on the back of your dollar. This means favors our plans, New World Order. The I references Lucifer the Light Bearer. History, mythology is history. There is no distinction. We were told it was mythology so we wouldn't know what actually happened, so that we would fall for the deception the second time. If we knew exactly what happened the first time, we'd be much less likely to fall for deception 2.0. So it does appear that indeed the Watchers came down, made giants, and also created hybrids because their sensual thirst became insatiable. They turned to the birds and the creatures, like Enoch tells you, which was removed from you by the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is obviously flooded with the Luciferian doctrine. So you can understand why they have hid everything from you in the Vatican, and they're also behind the Smithsonian. Stuff like this is real. That's Nimrod. It wasn't a lie. Oh, yeah. A Rogan was spotted yesterday. And because ether seems to prove the perpetual harmonic nature of nature itself, they have introduced this incestuous scribe who married his first cousin and then wanted to have sex, or more specifically, marry her daughter, who looked at him as a father figure and likes to wear female shoes, and was so dumb that he reified space. While they removed the legends like this from the history books, who understood the ether and more specifically the metaphysical importance of it. All perceptible matter comes from a primary substance or tenuity beyond conception, filling all space, the akasha or luminiferous ether, which is acted upon by the life-giving prana or creative force, calling into existence in never-ending cycles all things and phenomena. He also said something to the effect of the ether, when thrown into infinitesimal worlds of prodigious velocity, manifests as matter, and whenever the motion resides, it reverts back to the ether. But again, we weren't told about any of the legends. We were told about this fuzzy-haired crackpot who reified space and wanted to know what it was like to be a god. That dude was a Luciferian. So, yeah, anyway, basically, summary of the whole entire stream is, their plan is to usher in the reign of Lucifer. And that's what the video I showed you with George Bush was. The 1,000 points of light references Lucifer. And that's on the Illuminati playing cards, the 1,000 points of light. It's talking about the millennial reign of Lucifer, which I don't think that he reigns for a millennium. I don't know. But no, I don't think so. But we're told to persevere to the end. We're told that the deception is so great that if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived. And we're also told that if the days had not been shortened, no flesh would survive. So that no flesh would survive, the day must be shortened for the elect's sake. So it seems that we're in the time of things being revealed. So I'm sure somebody that's here needed to hear some of this. So there you go. Yeah, much love for that. Pretty wild. Oh yeah, they perform rituals at the Grammys. That's all that was. And I kind of skipped through it. That was painful, but I remember just fire started shooting up everywhere, and he started stomping and just screaming. When I saw it live, and I was just like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then I just randomly looked up Luciferian quotes because I, didn't have much time. I just looked it up, and sure enough, this little sodomite's on there saying, "I sold my soul to Lucifer." Yeah, you don't say, bro. You just performed an occultic ritual in front of all of us. And again, grown, powerful, super rich, prominent men play dress up in the dark and pretend to kill each other at the third degree. The third degree is a mock sacrifice. So understand that's what the master architect is. Maybe that's right. It's been raining for 1,000 years. Now we slay him. Maybe. I'd love to slay wizards, but I don't know. The prophecy does seem to pretty strongly insinuate everyone falls for it, bro. I hope you're right, but I don't think that he's even been revealed into the public yet. It's hard to know who to trust when we get all our info from a screen. Use your discernment. Yeah, I agree 100%. And don't just believe everything that I say, because that pattern of thinking is flawed, just like she said. I'm just simply hoping to provoke thought or give you some gravy for your biscuits if you didn't know about some of this stuff, and lead you to know where to look. If you think it's all fairy tale, look into the historicity of Yeshua without bias. What you will find is there's tons of extra biblical information that was hidden from you, suppressed from you, that he definitely existed. You'll also find you have to do it non-biased, which is all unplugging from the box is. It's removing your bias and breaking out of cognitive dissonance and willing to be honest. Okay. You'll also find that the Bible is the most historically accurate compilation, bar none. It's not even close. Talking about historically accurate when it comes to the timelines of different civilizations, where they lived, who reigned where, how they fell, what wars they were in. It's the most historically accurate compilation in existence. And of course, Harvard has a Bible college because of that reason. They just say that the divinity aspect of it is a fairy tale, but that the historicity of it is still accurate. And, they don't have a Harry Potter college. It's the most historically accurate compilation that exists. The Gravelers just had to taint it a little bit and act like they were representing like the most validity that it has, which is just a historical compilation, because there's no way that Jesus could really be the Son of God, right? But you can believe anything else that you want to. I'm not really sure what that reference is. What if Lucifer is in your mind giving you misinformation? I'm not sure why his misinformation would want me to expose their plan. So I don't think so, because I don't worship Lucifer. I have protection against Lucifer via Yeshua. So cool. yeah, I looked it up, bro. Yoda is 2.2 feet tall, so that's approximately 10 Rogans. And obviously, Yoda is a Luciferian little grabbler. Sorry if I just crushed your dreams, but he says everything backwards. Come on. He's always got his little stick while he's got his hands in the grappler position. Let's see, where is that? Yeah. Look at his little grappler hands. We had to fix it. You must unlearn what you have learned. And of course, what you need to unlearn is this nonsensical representation of the nature of where you live, where you're just a little tiny speck of dust. You're just a little blue speck of paint in this ever-expanding immensity of the universe, and you're nothing, and you're pure happenstance, and you're not important. And please just make sure you put all of your faith in materialism and apathy and nihilism. But of course, what he originally said was, what you have learned, and learn you must, because he says everything backwards. The little grabbler Luciferian. I think there might be another one. Strange and mysterious name to give to the spirit of darkness. Lucifer, the son of the morning. Is it he who bears the light, and with its splendors intolerable blinds feeble, sensual, or selfish fools? Doubt it not. I can't keep reading it. I just don't feel right even reading that stuff. But that's Albert Pike. He was a 33rd degree Freemason. He wrote Morals and Dogma, and there is actually a statue of him in Washington, D.C. So, yeah, he talks about Lucifer all the time. He's controlled opposition. Took me one show to figure that out. Yeah, no doubt. Joe Rogan is controlled opposition. He's a little sodomite grabbler that likes to wear bedazzles on his jeans and promotes the idea of toxic masculinity while pretending to stand up for masculinity, because he says things like women shouldn't be able to, or men shouldn't be able to beat up women. Oh, wow. You don't say, Rogan. You don't say. Why don't you stop going with the social justice warrior narrative of the patriarchy and stop acting like there's any such thing as toxic masculinity, because that's a nonsense word. And how about you stop promoting pornography, which is what's desensitizing all of our men from reality and making them a bunch of little gamma cucks? Why don't you stop promoting DMT, which is going to disconnect people from reality and desensitize their ability to discern between the deception? Yeah, but even beyond that, clearly all he's supposed to do is give you the illusion of testing the official story, when really all he is how far you're allowed to go. The only good thing that you could get from watching Joe Rogan is to know how far that the ones in control want you to be allowed to go. But yeah, Joe Rogan, speaking of, smash the Rogans up, because it's actually, of course, a thumbs up, but Joe Rogan looks like a human thumb, so smash the Rogans up. He looks like a human thumb, and he's a CIA gatekeeper, or he gets his talking points from Mossad, allegedly. CIA, Mossad, tomato, tomato. Yeah. CIA asset, Mossad. What's the difference? That's all you know, my man. All we know is the Earth is created. We don't know who created it. That's what you know, bro. That's all you know, maybe. But again, you should look into the historicity of Yeshua. That's all I'm saying. And then it says, if you seek him, you'll find him. He doesn't make you seek him. I used to think it was all fairy tale. I used to say, one of the way that I always used to respond to people was, there's 4,200 religions, and yours is the right one. Okay, so I've been where you are, man. You know, I was agnostic. It isn't the entirety of the story. Yes, there's undeniably a God. The earth was undeniably created, but there's one person they don't want you to know about, and it gives you power over all of the rest. Take it or leave it, man. Oh, what an enlightening pile of information you've brought to the table, man. Please keep talking. This dude is like really offended that I'm making fun of Joe Rogan. Okay, well, I'm sorry that your hero, Joe Rogan, called out the moon landing for being the nonsensical lie that it pretty clearly is. And he was like, how'd they destroy all the telemetry data? That doesn't really make sense. And then Mossad came and knocked on his door and said, hey, you're not going to get any more bedazzles on your jeans, and no more sodomy fests that you do in private in Las Vegas with trannies if you don't stop talking about the moon landing. So we're going to need you to issue a public retraction. In fact, I bet that didn't even happen. I bet Mossad didn't come and be like, hey, stop talking about it. I bet it was all designed from the beginning. He was supposed to act like he questioned the moon landing. Then whenever he went back on it, you'd be like, oh, well, even Joe Rogan figured out actually it was real. Yoda's from the Hebrew Yod, which looks like Yoda's head, the foundational letter in Hebrew. Whoa. I didn't know anything about that. Mr. Anderson always dropping some gravy, though. Was God created before or after the Big Bang? I think not. Yeah, the Big Bang is retarded. Everything came from nothing. And don't question us, but I promise that you evolved from an ape, even though there's no intermediate species ever. And dude, the same people that lied to you about all this are the same ones that are lying to you about everything that I told you about. So, Occam's razor, the situation, guys. Let's just put everything together, okay? The most logical deduction, like logos, logic. God is a God of logic. He's not trying to trick you. The truth's right here. Simplicity is divinity. Divinity is simplicity. Not always simplex, but it is simplicity. Oh, I'm sorry. I did. I called him the wrong name. His name is Toe Rogan. You're right. Toes up. Yeah, everybody smash the Rogan up. Again, what are bedazzles on the jeans? Little like sparkling bedazzles. I don't know what else to call them. That's just what I call them. He wears jeans with like little sparkles on them, dude, like on the pocket. I don't know what they're called, bro, but they're gay. Yeah, I'm hoping that you're not being serious. But yeah, of course, evolution is a lie. There's no intermediate species. It defies a scientific number for impossibility dozens of times. Amino acids alone disprove it, much less the compilation of them in the DNA structure. Yeah, evolution is retarded. And they've made it unfalsifiable by just adding on some nonsensical number of billions of years. So I could come up with anything. I can come up with anything then, right? Like, oh, actually, what really happened was little fairies started to attack each other with each other's fairy dust, and then the remnants of the fairy dust compiled over millions and millions of years, and then they gravitated towards each other, utilizing mutual mass acceleration, and then the fairies started laughing, and it created a reverberation frequency around it, which took 2 billion years to actually manifest into the first molecule of matter, and blah 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 blah. But it took 27 billion years. I promise it's real. Don't question me. You know, that's literally how retarded it is. It made it unfalsifiable. That's what you do when you're lying. They try to do the same thing with the heliocentric model. Oh yeah, well that star's a quadrillion light years away. Just trust me. So stupid. How do these people even find my stream? You know, I know YouTube's not like suggesting it. Is this like a creationist thing? What are you talking about, bro? If there's creation, then someone created it. The necessary antecedent to creation is a creator. So I don't know if you're trolling or what you're doing, but yeah. Sacred geometry, the Fibonacci sequence proves God. Look up intelligent design. Look up the Fibonacci sequence. Or I guess just keep thinking you know everything, you evolved from an ape. When I say the thing about the fairies, I'm not saying that fairies didn't exist. I don't know, but there's some evidence that they did. I'm not saying that fairies didn't exist. I was just making a point that fairy dust didn't start the universe, but if I add a billion years to it, then some dumb people will believe it as long as I say some big words and show them a big equation. Antichrist are those that deny Jesus is the Son of God. Sure, Antichrist is a spirit, but there's a figure in the end. Any thoughts on the Antichrist? I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. There's a few possibilities in my opinion. It could be the artificial intelligence integration thing that I was telling you about earlier, you know, like the transhuman artificial intelligence metaphysical trifecta, basically, or maybe an army of them. They could also claim intergalactic travel of all these different species of aliens, and there's one figurehead. He's an alien, and he's been in charge of all of them, and he's at peak evolution, and he comes in, imposing or doubling down on the notion of evolution and saying that we're still evolving, and he's the most evolved version, or that he made all of us, or whatever it is. So it could be the alien deception, like a lead alien figure. It could just be a human. It could just be a human that seems to not be able to die or something crazy, and then he takes credit for the sun and the moon changing in the sky or something like that, and everyone falls for it. There's a few different ways that it could happen, but the AI thing is really the gravy that got me thinking about their end game, because they're pushing towards this artificial intelligence era big time. So I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely a little devil mouse forming wizardry. Oh, I definitely do that. I talk crazy fast. Yeah, well, according to the scriptures, which is what I adhere to, yes, there's an antichrist spirit. It's anything that isn't of Christ, but there's also a figure. There's a figure in the end. That's pretty funny. I should not pretend to know where many ignorant men are sure, whichever side of the spectrum one is on. Yeah, sure, but I used to take the agnostic approach to a lot of things also. But if you're just going to say that as like an encompassing ideal or notion or sentiment and then just leave it there, you're never going to truly find out the true story. And it's that Yeshua is real. But you're going to have your own personal experience. Like I don't go around just telling everyone on YouTube my personal experience because it's anecdotal. You know, I mean, I might do a stream on it. I'm sure I will. Going into the specifics, but seek them and you'll find them, man. Whoa, dude. I was in your recommended? Don't lie, bro. No way. I don't think YouTube recommends me, but I don't know. Good night, bro. AI is more fear porn, in my opinion. Very possible. Yeah, the whole idea of the quantum computer, that might be fear porn. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it's not all fear porn. You know what I mean? Because again, the Connect was monitoring your skeletal structure, your mannerisms. Your phone does open up just by looking at you. We are being constantly surveilled. They are obviously always going to pursue technology. Purely monetary greed alone shows you incentive to implement artificial intelligence to remove human labor. That removes error. It increases longevity. It decreases costs. So I don't know. There's obviously a transhumanism push going on. And just like he was saying earlier, we've seen movies go from extraterrestrial to slowly integrating the idea of interdimensional. And then, of course, the idea of transhumanism has been normalized through movies. The idea of aliens in general have been normalized in movies, but they're trying to normalize the idea of it being interdimensional. So you can kind of see where this is going, right? They have to show you what they're doing. It's on the back of your dollar bill. Yeah, true that. True that. I think he actually has like a 130 IQ. It isn't like super high, but it isn't like real low. Yeah, this is because Baphomet is a tranny. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me show you. So I'm sure everyone's seen it, but this is where the Nobel Prize or the Nobel meetings, banquet, whatever, was held here recently. And of course, looks like a dude, but the description of it is that it's a queen. You can see her or its right hand's up, its left hand's down, and in its left hand, which would be representing below, is illuminated, something that's illuminated as above, so below. A bunch of prominent people. Look, of course, this is the Masonic compass above her, or him, or it, or whatever it is. You can see it looks just like the Masonic symbol's compass. So yeah, a bunch of powerful people meeting here, and I want to say this is like a couple weeks ago. And there's the little tranny. Yeah, so whatever. Yeah. I don't watch any. I don't watch TV, but cool. I would suggest, bro, don't stop watching TV, bro. You know, like there's still some logos in the internet in the sense that you can seek out things that have logos in it, but cable, Netflix, no. You know, and honestly, video games are usually desensitize you. Pornography is usually desensitize you. Fluoride is desensitizing you. It's all desensitizing you from discernment. It's also all predictively programming you to accept the impending deceptions. Yeah. Smash the Rogans up. Yeah. Still water. Yeah, for sure. Because believe it or not, guys, the government doesn't pump the water with fluoride so that you have pretty teeth. I don't think they care. They're spraying metals in the sky, bro. Trying to mandate poisonous vaccines. I don't care about your teeth, bro. The only thing I watch is sports and movies. I only watch it to laugh. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I do occasionally still find myself watching is sports. I think maybe it's good for everybody to just kind of blue pill sometimes, but at the same time, I stopped even really watching football. And dude, I played football in high school and college and like love it. So just my suggestion is to fall off on all of it because it has a spiritual effect on you, man. That's why TV programming, TV channels. What are you channeling? TV equals all symbolism, indeed. Indeed, yep. Spam the Rogans up if you have not. Magic with the K, yep, that's their belief system. It's actually Magick. It's a CK. I'm missing part of my tooth. It got chipped out when I was like 12. I mean, I've had it replaced a few times, but it always just comes together. Yeah, and dude, one of the most like popular sports on the rise is UFC and a little bit of sodomy. Not that fighting is gay, okay, or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, certain group of people did buy out UFC. Joe Rogan's a big part of it. We know how he likes his sodomy. So it just seems kind of weird, bro. Seems kind of weird. And of course, it's very just primitive idea in general. Like, I remember a few weeks ago, I was at a friend's house. I saw a dude get choked out and just like left limp on the ground. Everyone's sitting here like cheering and stuff. I'm like, what a primitive civilization we live in. Like, what? This dude just looks like he's on the brink of death. You know, people are just cheering. But anyway, I'm not big on it. I think it's all propaganda. It's all used to desensitize your mind. Cumberland University wasn't that big. I lost a bunch of scholarships. We won't go into details. Yeah, exactly. It's like modern day gladiators. Getting right with God, seeking the truth, seeking and speaking truth, meaning what you say, representing logos, understanding what the meaning of life is. The meaning of life is understanding the meaning of life, the pursuit of the understanding. Submission to that is greater than you, swallowing of ego. I can go on forever on that question. That's pretty funny. Yep. Much love for that. Yeah, come check us out on Glowbusters every Sunday. I think 2 p.m. Central. Yeah, that's a huge red flag in and of itself. Yeah, all sports is a thing to keep you plugged into the box, keep you desensitized, to keep you confused and distracted. I'm about to wrap it up, though, guys. I'm pretty tired. Much love. Yep, stationary plane. That is where we live, indeed. Exactly. Exactly, bro. Sports are just bread and circus acts for the masses. Yep. All right, so basically, in conclusion, guys, unplug from the box. We can only show you the box steps you to unplug. I've briefly just ladled a little bit of gravy for you, but it's much deeper. You're gonna have to do your own research. Hopefully, I've helped you put some pieces together. But the star people, the fallen ones, the watchers, they deceived mankind once. They were put into bondage, as the story goes. They got out. They're gonna do it again. They had to lie to you about all of your history because you wouldn't fall for the deception again. The back of your very dollar bill, if you're an American, which is, of course, the world reserve currency, tells you what their plan is. It's to usher in their world order, and that is favored by the light bearer. That's what Masonry really is. Only the higher levels understand it. If you really want to know, and you think if you have discernment and some intellect, then a good place to kind of understand their agenda is to look at Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. But I wouldn't suggest that for everyone. Again, it requires pretty active discernment. But yeah, so that's basically the summary. They have a plan to usher in their deity, Lucifer. If you think it's all fairy tale, well, these people have successfully run the world for generations and generations and generations. They manipulate everybody. They control all the banking, all of the media, all of the resources. They own pretty much all of the land. They keep you completely dependent on them. They keep you completely in a brainwashed, mind-numb zombie state. They've successfully brainwashed the masses when they're but a minority. So anyway, what I'm saying is maybe there's some truth to what they believe in, or like there's some reality in it, right? Of course, they believe everything inverted of the truth. That's the whole point, is they believe everything is inverted. It's all about inversion. That'll help you see through the wizardry if you understand that it's all about inversion. Everything is backwards. So they tell you the earth is stationary, plane, and we're the center of everything. They tell you we're a tiny speck of dust in this ever-expanding universe, and that we're nothing, and it's pure random. We're not the center of anything, and that it's moving, and that it's round. It's the exact opposite of everything it really is. And once you can see through the inversion, you can see through the deception. So yeah, and I also always say the world is a stage. You must know that you're watching a play. If you don't even know you're watching a play, then you'll never be able to understand the motivation of the author of the play. So yeah, there you go. Nice talking to you. I will go live tomorrow night as well. And dude, just unplug from the box. Seek and speak truth and mean what you say. And I'll catch up with y'all mañana. Love.